Hey everyone, it's David Wilson, Managing Principal of FundUuP, here with your COVID-19 funding update. Today's date, April 14th, 2020. So I'm here to bring you the facts, what's really going on as I see it, being a little bit on the inside to let the business community know what's really out there and what's really going on, based upon the facts that are coming out as quickly as we can get them, and kind of interpret what they really mean. So we're going to do three things today. We're going to talk about three things. We're going to talk about first the EDIL. Second, we're going to talk about PPP. Third, we're going to talk about my company's new portal. So first, the EDIL. So the EDIL has been morphing and changing, and at the end of the day, when it first came out, and forget about whether this made any sense or not, right? Whether it made any economic sense or not. You know, we have folks out there doing some, you can do some quick math. You don't have to be a mathematician to figure. You take one number, one big number, and you divide all the number of businesses into it, and you come up with a number that kind of doesn't make sense. Okay, so fine. Conceptually, sounded good, and I think the expectation from the business community was that you go to this site, you click on some button, you fill in some information, and you get $10,000 before a loan application is approved. If it's not approved, you get to keep the $10,000. If it is approved and you get more, then maybe some of that is a grant, maybe some of that is a loan. Weren't really sure. So everybody flooded to the internet to apply for this, and I don't think a lot of people have been funded by it because the rules continued to change. Fast forward to today, it appears the EDIL, that whole $10,000 thing is kind of off the table, because they're going to base the amount of the advance on the number of employees you had at the time. So similar to PPP, but definitely employee based. And I've heard, I've seen reports $1,000 per employee, something like that. Big picture is that this program, I think it's very important that business owners not rely upon what they hear and expect a certain thing to happen. Just because the parts are always moving, it's been very fluid. I think SBA gets into the Treasury's ear when Treasury and administration decide to do something. SBA does the numbers and realize it, brings it back and says, no, we can't do this. I don't want to get into, this is not about politics. I'm just telling you the truth. So that's what's going on. So that's the EDIL. PPP. PPP sounds like it might be getting better as we get more information. The PPP, I'm hearing that some businesses are getting funded by that. So the last report I had, no one that I had heard of course, I know everyone, but no one that I had heard of had been funded. And I hadn't heard of anyone who had heard of anyone who had gotten funded. So that's like 100 people. I understand that. But bottom line is, it seems like people are getting funded now, and that's starting to roll in. Bankers are still overwhelmed. As more applications, so they're in their branches, they're in their headquarters just processing these and churning these applications out. The rules still seem to apply. Most banks are only processing, gathering and assembling and processing SBA PPP loans for existing customers. I'm hearing that some banks, if you're not an existing customer, if you're willing to come in and actually open an account, they will consider your taking care of your PPP for you. I think that's rare. I don't think most banks are doing that. A lot of people, a lot of business owners are kind of in a crunch because they don't know where to go. It's the same thing we spoke about before. I don't blame a banker at all. I don't blame any bank for making that decision. They would be totally overwhelmed by the process, and it would just be overwhelming. So last post we spoke about that gap. We have people whose banks are not processing PPP. Okay, so now you're out of luck if your bank doesn't process PPP. So you go to another bank and you say, hey, will you guys do my PPP application for me? They say no because you're not an existing customer. Okay. Or maybe you procrastinated and you haven't put the information together. But there's a group of business owners who fall into that category, and they don't know what to do. So we'll get to point number 3. Point number 3 is the FundUuP SBA PPP application portal. It went live early this morning, and I have begun to trickle it out on social media outlets, on our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter accounts, also our website at funduup.com, FUNDUUP.com. So what is this? This is simply we have leveraged our partnerships. We've leveraged our partnerships with other SBA lenders to create a place where these, we call them business owners without a bank, without a home, can go and submit all of their paperwork and get into the SBA PPP game as well. So we've made it so that the business owner gets all of their files together electronically. Everything is spelled out. If you go to our website, it's going to be ppp.funduup, FUNDUUP.com. So ppp.funduup, FUNDUUP.com. Put in some information. We'll give you a guide on tips on how to complete your application package. You'll go to our portal, securely upload all of those files, and then we will begin in conjunction with our SBA lending partners to do the processing. So it's simple. We did this to help those business owners who were just kind of falling through the cracks. And let me be clear, I'm not blaming any bank, any banker, any SBA. I just think that this was moving so quickly that it ended up a lot of people fell by the wayside. But that's what we have to do as businesses. We have to be nimble. We have to be able to turn on a dime and realize who really, what is the solution? What's the problem? And is there a solution? And what can the solution be? And I'm confident that we've come up with a solution that's going to help a lot of people. It's going to help a lot of people get the funding they need to keep people at work, to keep their businesses up and running until all of this pandemic related challenge subsides. So that's the update. We now have in the marketplace an opportunity for folks who have not had an opportunity before to process their PPP application. So to get that process started, again, go to PPP, so 3 P's, PPP dot FundUuP, FundUuP, name of my company, .com, ppp.funduup.com, and it'll walk you right through the process. And I'm excited. We're excited. We're excited to see how many people we can help. We're excited to see how many businesses we can help rehire employees. Keep people working. Keep the economy moving, because after all, it's the small businesses that really keep this thing going. So I applaud you all. Thanks for watching. Look out for some more updates later on in the week. Again, it's David Wilson, Managing Principal of FundUuP, with your COVID-19 funding update for April 14th, 2020. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.